here.
Would you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Okay. Mark Clayton, who's not here. Dave Kimsey.
Present.
Terry Fountain.
Here.
Nina Lindhorst is not here. Matt Mao.
Here.
Joe Shadowman.
Here.
Okay.
I'm here. Okay. Let's see. Public comments. Would anyone care to address the village board this evening? Bonnie.
There's a couple things I wanted to bring up, but I got in a letter, anonymous, and I know you guys went all about it, but I brought the email in case you wanted to see it. A couple of things that the citizens are very concerned about. A lot of them are in the past. I couldn't have made it up, you guys, because I haven't been here that long. Okay, kids do grow up here, but I wasn't around when this all started. They want to make sure that a lot of things are brought up. For the citizen that might be listening to this meeting tonight, I want them to understand that yes, there's a comment made in there about maybe that I'm too concerned about the water and nothing else. From the water, I'm very concerned about for the mere fact of the health issues for the citizens of this village. The other issues here, hey, it's just a needle in the haystack, but sooner or later enough FOIAs and things like that can be gotten to figure out just how much had been going on in this town even before I came here, or things that were going on that I was not aware of. The third page there is a third letter that I've gotten from these people. Apparently they've been here for a long time. So just look that over. I'm sure we'll discuss this a little bit later. My biggest issue right now is there's still no answer to what you guys are proposing and what you're sending out to tenants in regards to their utility bills and what you're doing with the landlords. These landlords are dependent on me to stand up here and force you guys to make a decision on that. Pat, the attorney, you guys are supposed to be working on something. The only question I have, which I'm pretty sure won't be answered, is have you decided to be smart enough to take that off of their utility bills that you will be putting liens on the property owner's property? That basically you're not doing your job, you're not cutting them like you should, but you have every opportunity to. We'll look that up, I'll give you the information on what the cut policy is for citywide power if that helps you make the decision. But you got a bunch of landlords getting together that are not happy, and they're not gonna take this, okay? I gave you every opportunity to make the decision to correct this, either take it off, then reissue it, or whatever. You guys aren't taking that into account. I know my son alone owes about 150 properties.
Now, your concern is just with the notice going to the tenants.
Yes.
Is that right? So if you change the notice to the tenants, that's what you're looking for, a change in the notice to take that language off that they need to be put in the property. That's exactly what you're looking for, is that correct?
That, and I want to know where it states that the landlord has ever signed stating that they are responsible for unpaid utility bills from a tenant.
Okay.
Okay? Second of all, ordinance on spending. I'm going to beat you guys up on this one. We've asked and asked and asked, and you just keep blowing us off like everything else we've been here and talked to you guys about. You have no right to spend whenever you want to spend without a referendum with a limited amount. 5 million, sorry, at this point with a $35 million debt, I don't even think 5 million I trust you guys with. Third of all, this letter from the citizens, please read it over and take it serious. And right here is the envelope it came from. It just had my first name and my address. And you can tell in that letter they're worried about repercussions on this. I also want you guys to know that we know that a few of you people are members of certain websites. And I think it's great that you get on there and read what's posted out there from the citizens. And the particular people that are reading this, step up. And when you guys all go in your little meetings in the back, maybe you need to step up and tell them how many more citizens are out there complaining about health issues. Hair, skin, their children, stomach problems. You guys better get it together. Get out of this water. Quit ignoring us. Quit not answering. Because This is only gonna get worse, because you guys choose to stand up there and say, we're not answering. Careful.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, since this is a special meeting, the special meeting comments have to be related to items on the agenda, and I think all of yours were, but just as a reminder for others.
Yes.
There will be another opportunity, right?
Yes, but then there's going to be another committee of the whole meeting where it's open to anything, but the rules of the village board for special meetings is it's got to be related to an agenda item.
Oh, gosh, can I have another 5 minutes then?
Yeah, you can have mine.
Yeah.
Jeff, you wanna?
Also, I appreciate getting the letter. It was also sent to me. We're in the process of reviewing it and taking a look at what's in there. So, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else care to address the village board this evening? Okay, moving along, can I have a motion to put the consent agenda on the table for consideration? Do I have a second?
I'll second, but I do have a couple comments.
Okay.
A couple of expenditures. Pat, I don't know if you can tell me, or if you'll need to do a little checking, but I'm looking at this for lunch hour. Notice there's 3 purchases from Ace dealing with paint for striping the roads. I don't know if this is for doing crosswalks, stop bars, or what have you. My question is, are they throwing glass beads on there so that it's reflective? So it shows up at night better.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, that may be something just to look into, and discuss a little bit more if need be.
So do you not want to pay for the paint?
No, I'm fine with the paint, I just want to know if we're throwing glass beads out there so that basically we're meeting MUTCD requirements on that. The other question I've got, I don't know how it's set up. I'll say it's the first time I've seen it pop up. There's a bill to Neiman Foods for the soda machine refill. I don't know how that's set up. I'm assuming the village isn't subsidizing
No,
soda.
they're not.
Okay.
No.
That's only 2 items I had questions on.
No corrections to the minutes. Clerk, would you please take the vote?
Okay. We'll start out with Dave Kimsey,
Yes.
Terry Fountain,
Yes.
Matt Mao,
Yes.
Joe Shadman,
Yes.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is a resolution confirming the appointment of Lee Bloom to the Water Commission. I have a motion.
Resolution.
That'd be 36.
36.
Do you have a second? Discussion.
How about discussion from the public on that?
Public comment. As a trustee and having talked to Lee Bloom personally today and looking at what he's done in the past, and I think he'll be a great addition, great representative to the board,
Jacksonville went under.
to the board as a representative on the water.
what do we expect from that?
Anybody else care to add a comment?
And the public or
Dave? Okay, clerk, would you take
Who
the
was the
vote,
second
please?
on? Who was the second on?
I was.
Thank you.
We're just gonna push that through and not have any
Clerk, would you take the
Just like
vote,
they did a
please?
water plant.
Okay.
There was a public comment period at the beginning of the meeting.
Dave Kimsey,
Unless the village board wants to recognize people from the audience.
Well, if they wanted to recognize us, they would have done it long before this meeting.
Okay, continue the vote.
Terry Fountain,
Yes.
Matt Mao,
Yes.
Joe Shadman.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, the last item on the,
Another good employee for the Chatham Water.
can we have a resolution granting the Chatham J.C.'s use of the village square for Oktoberfest?
Resolution
I'll second that motion.
Discussion?
The only thing I would suggest is I'm assuming with the attachment, that should be 2016, not 2015.
What?
He's talking about this. Here's a date that needs changed.
September days?
No, basically, there's an attachment called 2015 October says general liquor sales and security rules. And then they list 21 items. I'm making the assumption it should be 2016.
It is.
For I, okay.
Take both ways.
Okay.
Both.
You ready?
Yes. What, or,
Any question?
Yeah, I think those are just rules in there for reference. I don't think it's part of the resolution.
okay.
Dave Kinsey? Terry Fountain?
Yes.
Matt Mao?
Yes.
Joe Sutton?
Yes.
Okay, and can I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss collective bargaining?
I'll make that motion, however, I'll amend that motion, to also include travel litigation.
Okay, clerk, would you take the vote, please?
And I didn't understand what you said.
Yes.
Terry
What did I
Fountain?
say? I
Terry
added,
Fountain?
Yes.
Matt Mao?
yes,
Joe Sutton?
I amended the
He said it was possible.
Executive session to something.
probable litigation.
And
Probable.
collective bargaining and collective bargaining. And then we'll come back out, we'll adjourn the special meeting, and then we'll go into the committee of the whole. There will be another public comment period at the beginning of public whole, committee of the whole.
Yeah.
This is for the executive session. Yeah, just like how we've got one already.
Yeah, I didn't see it on there, so I This is Chad. But you can ask it in the next one. Okay. I just wondered what the advice is. Yeah, that's storm. You know, they're in there's not. There's just some kind of thing, you know, take on the money to meet their lives. But if there was an emergency like that. It was a storm. It had lots more than the monthly. It was a storm. I just wondered why he's in the when they got That's what I wanted to support here, because I honestly didn't know. And it was probably that big stuff. It literally is. But the trauma did not break. It's been long since out there.
My neighbor's got.
How are you?
The branches are sitting on my grass.
Start school in 2
Why?
weeks.
I let them to be.
You got your solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's like a regular, right?
They're supposed to take it away, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, you hire a company to do it, they've got to finish the job and take the stuff.
Doesn't the village charge a tree company to bring their stuff to where the branches and things go? I thought they charged them a fee. They could take it over there, but they just charge them a fee.
Oh, I see what you're saying. They should. I mean, if the pre-service is usually not done, they should pay.
Oh, absolutely.
Because doesn't, that big truck, and they pull my behind it, and they go,
And then go through and pull all the branches. That's right.
But
Those are small branches. Those are not big tree trunks. Now, when we had this tree cut down, that tree company all took out the line.
as far as I know, that's what they're supposed to do. They cut it down. It is out now, as far as they can.
And you know how
Does that explain to you guys? When the village comes out, that's the tree fence, that way for a while, remember? Why would they not have I think they may have now, but at first the lady, okay, you pay the referendum, right there. It says, oh, your firehouse. I'm sorry. Thank you. I think I was wrong in the impression that down here. Started. So we're the ones. I think they call it, and they came back. My only other thing is. They take care of, they don't come here, they take care of, you produce it, I'm like. And the guy just right there in the water. Still do this or go, it's kind of hard on here, but it's 60, 48, 67, 143.
Yeah.
I think she's outside smoking.
It's on fire, it's really hard.
Yeah, she's right out there, you might ask her.
You're just like, yeah, so you're just, yeah.
It's so good. I know this is.
There'll be a while.
So hard without my.
Bugs in the heat.
Oh, maybe
Breakdown is not thinking. That's right.
Yes, yes.
So it's shut.
I mean, those teachers that is like gifted, you know, there's teachers and then there's. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's real bad.
Yeah.
I had a relative that she was younger and she just, they went to fight. She went in the hospital and then she threw up. And then that was she but it was the same thing, like, you know, you just crossed over for a little.
You're in trouble. I know what's going
So anyway, I'm so tired of being stressed.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Feel is way too much.
That's why I think really busy in my body.
Did you hear us say he was not?
No.
I say, that's weird. But you haven't even seen the meal.
Can you get her us right now? That's all you're gonna say?
This shoe.
He's just always so handsome and always sweet. He's checked out. I promised him dinner and I was moving, so that's the reason he's here.
Wow. Easy.
Yeah. Poor Miriam. Hey, boys! How you guys doing?
I did that too.
No, but I don't know.
What do you guys know?
What is this one?
Did you break your arm?
Oh, this is the,
Oh, it's a smart man.
Yeah, no, like, it's just one, well, he had a cast. That's
Actually,
you know, I think every time I've seen invoices for the living I realize that I do the wrong business all the time. I mean, I have never seen so much outrageous prices and bills. And I should make some quotations on them like $5,000 because that's what they call.
You know? Good. Yes, I am. She is Mimi.
You guys remember when you guys had those, last
Yes. Yes, you did. Thank you again. That's awesome when you help. I hope you get that again. I did wrong with it.
The things that fly there.
I'm doing this. He never asked me.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. What's up, man? How you? Broken arm or?
Mr. Mayor?
Who's gonna be handling your test?
I'm Jay Hawkins, Jay and,
Okay, yeah.
Alright, come on guys, let's go back.
Alright, I have a motion to readjourn.
Next motion, we adjourn into open session.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
How can I have a, yeah,
Good, during the special meeting.
okay, all in favor?
Uh,
Okay, we're out of the special meeting.
Voice works for John. Call me later.
Oh, Pat, it's not working very well, the sound. It's got feedback for some reason. Do you know why?
I don't.
So you're gonna report it alternately among the ways that you're legally obligated to, since the last time you said excuse that your sound was bad, not gonna provide any other means of people that try to watch it remotely to get that sound?
I don't think we're legally obligated
Not
to.
legally obligated. I thought the Attorney General said you guys had to upload this to YouTube. That's not something that was here before.
What about morally obligated? Does anybody feel like the citizens have a right to hear it? That's kind of a separate issue, but is there any concern at all that your citizens possibly can't make it to a meeting? For example, my husband works out of town, and usually isn't home for another half hour. Is there any moral concerns there at all that?
I'm guessing at some point the village board made a decision that they wanted to live stream these. So if there's issues with the sound or the quality, I think that's something I'm sure that.
We've
Again, we addressed the 2 week period that the sound didn't work last time, and now again, the sound didn't work.
You're not recording the meeting? You don't record the meeting?
No, I don't do anything to this meeting. This on there.
For the minutes?
But it's not.
It doesn't have any voice.
I take minutes, yeah. And then they're posted on Board Doc.
But it's just your written minutes.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
I thought you had to have that for 30 days. You had to have a
We're
recording for
not
30 days.
we're not recording these by tape anymore. We have them for years.
No, but I think what they're saying is when this thing here's not working all the way, if you're getting not getting audio, but you're getting video, do you back it up with a tape or anything?
I just wrote out my notes.
Or could you? Is there a way it can
You
be
don't
done?
have to have a recording for 30 days. I
No.
thought that's what,
That's right. Put me on payroll, I'm recording.
So regardless, it's still no answer to my question. Is there not a single person up there that feels any moral obligation to satisfy citizens who can't be here, whether they work at nights or they're handicapped and can't make it in here, or they're sick or anything? Is there anyone that's concerned that there might be citizens who have voted for you that are unable to?
I've contacted the company to come in and give me a quote for a new microphone system for here.
Why can't you pick one up?
didn't we just pay?
Can we call the, payroll for what it was? They all go in for it, all the silence. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Do it. Okay, Mark Clayton is on. Dave Kinsey?
And Terry Fountain,
Here.
Matt Mao,
Here.
Joe Shawson.
Present.
I'm not a member of the committee.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Public comment?
Yes.
Speak up, hold going.
Okay, Jewel Brandt. We have repeatedly asked everyone to look at the debt that South Sangamon has that we're tied to repeatedly. I think Becky has asked every single time she's at a meeting. She's asked you guys to get someone in here, break it down and explain it to us because it's really unclear how much we're tied to. And Dave, I asked you specifically July 1st in an email to put numbers and break that down for us and explain it to everyone. And it just seems like you're unwilling to do that. So I contacted a friend of mine who's been through 15 audit that's on the South Sangamon website. We looked at some numbers, put them in a spreadsheet, and well, this is the, can you just start anything about? This is the breakdown, the quick and dirty. It's just a quick little graph. And basically what it's saying is our debt goes up every year. Just the debt, not operating and maintenance, not depreciation, just the debt. And I think they stacked it like that to be low at the beginning so that, you know, maybe we wouldn't have sticker shock when we switched over to this new water provider. I don't know. There's multiple meeting minutes and operating reports from South Sangamon where Commissioner Pfeffer and Commissioner McCord disagreed on the amount to charge for the wholesale water rate. McCord wanted it low at the beginning. Pfeffer said, no, we're not going to be able to afford it. And you know what? He was right. If you flip that over, you'll see on the other side under South Sangamon, they're charging us $6.85 per 1,000 gallons. That's the wholesale water rate. And that's even more than what we started with initially. But looking at those numbers, if they truly are going to cover the operating and maintenance costs, the depreciation, and the debt, they should be charging us $8.50 per 1,000 gallons. That's just today, right now, what they should be charging us. That is not including the improvements that they're going to have to do. And we all know the comprehensive performance evaluation from Curry stated they have to implement lots of improvements. So the operating and maintenance costs are going to go up. The debt is going to go up. They got to borrow money to make those improvements happen. A lot of money. We're tied to that too. I'd like to know how much we're willing to pay. I think it's kind of ridiculous that what we're paying right now for what we're getting. If you look on the other side of that, CWLP, the last offer we had from them was $4.64 per 1,000 gallons. Now, if we were able to sever our tie with South Sangamon and go with CWLP, if we were able to get that offer, if we could just pay that and pay off the debt that we're tied to, we'd be at $8.63 a 1,000 gallons for 20 years. Look at the two numbers in bold. It's 13 cents difference. That's it. It's basically a break-even deal right now. Today, it's a break-even deal. Tomorrow, when they start implementing all of the improvements that they have to do, they want a hydro-pneumatic tank. They want a tower. Their green sand filter is still up in the air. Manganese is still a problem. We know corrosion is still a problem. That's listed in the CPE too. That's listed in their response to the EPA. Lots of improvements going to have to happen. We're going to have to pay for it. And we are really unhappy with you all for not doing this for us.
Yes, ma'am.
Just wondering, I know quite a few times it's been brought up about doing a forensic audit and everything like that. But if we looked any farther into pretty much getting out of this because of they're not supplying the water they're contracted to supply, what's kind of obvious conflicts of interest and other things that are going on out there. I know you guys were, back in May, we talked about it, and you were looking into doing that would clear us of having to do owing them money. It would get us out of it, or at least a big portion of it, and then switch back to CWLP. I know I probably wouldn't be so sick.
Question directed to me.
I think so.
There were some issues that the board asked us to look into, which we did. I think probably the best way to answer that is to say that, it's something that we're continuing to explore the issues, analyze the issues.
But you know what, Jeff, I'm gonna tell you something. There are little kids that are sick. There are elderly people that are sick. Now, and there are dogs that are dying because of the damn water. How long did it take you all to get a backup agreement with city water like that? If I'm not mistaken, it was what, 3 years? 3 years. 3 years to get it back. We can't afford, the citizens of Chatham cannot afford to wait 3 years to get back on city water like that. If this, what Jewel did, if this doesn't knock your socks off, I think I said before that when all of this debt starts coming due and we start paying principal, we're gonna pay $10, $12, $15 for 1,000 gallons. Now, Joe and Mr. Mayor, is that our destiny? Is that what you planned for? Is that what you planned for us, Joe? No. Is that what you planned for us, Mr. Mayor? Then get us the hell out of this mess. And do it now. Because I'm gonna tell you, there's lawsuits coming, gentlemen. There are lawsuits coming against South Sangamon County Water. There's lawsuits coming against this village. And we'll see how, this is ridiculous, guys. And the fact that the SEC is gonna start investigating these bonds. And if they called them, then you know whose butt's on the line? Yours. Mine. All of us here. Because they're gonna call them for the principal and the interest. And then how much is our real estate taxes gonna go up? Then what are you gonna do as a community? This is serious stuff, guys. And I don't think you get it. And then you got an attorney that had his hands in all the piles. See where his office is now. It's not where it used to be because his law partners wanted him out of there.
This was paying for the new office.
So, there's a lot of things, guys, that you're not, either if you're aware of them, you've turned a blind eye, or you just think we're a bunch of idiots and we don't know what we're doing about it. And that you all are smarter than us. And I'll tell you, that just irritates the hell out of me for anybody to think they're smarter than me. When you've been presented with all of this information. And everybody sits there like deer in the headlights. It's very irritating as a citizen. We have public comment, but we can't, you won't answer any questions for us.
It's been 3 years.
You won't answer any questions. And as public servants who have elected you, I think it's your obligation if we say, what do you think about this? What's your feeling about all this debt? How much do you think we're going to pay? That nobody up there can say a word. You just stare at us. Just stare at us.
Jeff, I'm going to direct this to you, but actually I'd like anybody to answer it. You said that we're analyzing that. if you went to a doctor because you had whatever, insert anything in the same spot, a tumor, and he runs tests and he tells you, I'm gonna analyze that and get back with you, how long would you be willing to wait? Would you expect a call back in a week? Or would you wait 3 years? At some point, you have to stop analyzing and get active with this. We analyze everything to death. We've talked about it and talked about it and looked at it and looked at it. Oops, we're getting hot. Let's get rid of that person. Let's get someone in and we can start analyzing again. We gotta stop analyzing. We gotta start taking action. It's an activity at its finest. We gotta do something proactive instead of reactive for once in our lives.
There was a lady today that was on Facebook. And I don't recall her name. She had to take her children, two little children, I think, to the doctor. Her 40-year-old has lost 4 pounds, isn't eating, has got stomach problems, and is lethargic. Now, I want to tell you, 4 pounds is a lot to lose for a 4-year-old. And this lady, her other child has problems too. And her doctor said to her, don't drink the water. Now, can it be any plainer than that? You've got a 4-year-old that's losing weight and is lethargic and ill and an upset stomach. What more do we have to show you and talk to you about and prove to you before you're going to answer or get off your ducks and do something? My God, if it was your 4-year-old, you'd be over here choking somebody. It's ridiculous.
And that's the kind of thing where if you can get me in touch with those types of doctors.
That's against the law. And what we'll do is we'll lay the first dead body right out here on this table. You can analyze it all you want then and see if that's.
All the doctor has to report this to the CDC if the water's causing these issues.
That's right, yeah. And if the
Oh, well, then it's fine, trustee Mel, thank you for clearing that up.
if the mother will consent and will help us get some of that information, that's information that can be used.
Yeah, we're working on getting that information from her.
And I fully understand that you need that. That's a legality issue.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
I'm not trying to say that, but I'm saying if you.
She doesn't have to be,
If you look out in the field and you see one red flower, no big deal. You look out and you see a bunch of red flowers, you can take it, there must be red flowers out there. You're not seeing just one person complaining about issues. You're seeing them over and over. It should be enough to send up a red flag and go, we might have an issue here. We're not getting it. We might have an issue here. We have an issue here.
They don't trust you. Do you not see that in the letter I gave you? I told you that last week, Mayor. Your citizens that voted you in, that, sorry, I can't wait, most of them can't wait till you're gone. They don't trust you to talk to you guys. They do not trust you guys up there, period. And you want them to give you names to doctors. You know what, I call a lawyer, not you, but I call a lawyer.
Was not the Curry report enough to wake you people up?
Did you read it?
Did anybody read it, comprehend it? And yet, I come week after week and hear the same questions asked by people. All I get is blank stares.
Yep.
I mean, for crying out loud, it's embarrassing for a public body, for elected officials to sit there and just look at citizens like they don't know what they're talking about. I would be embarrassed if I were you guys.
I'm embarrassed for you.
Now, I do have a question. What are you going to do when the lawsuits start coming? And that's going to lead to investigations. And that's going to bring up the need for attorneys. It'd be a great job, be great up to the attorney business. And that investigation could lead to other things. And I will say this, just remember, if there are investigations, the first person on the bus makes the best deal.
Yeah.
Because,
And it's not
week after week, ask questions, we get no answers.
And when they start investigating, it's not just going to be into the water situation. It's going to be across the board. and all these little special deals and things that have been going on for years, all of that stuff's gonna come to the forefront.
Mr. Mayor, do you remember at the school when we had that very first meeting? At the school where we had the very first meeting?
Yes.
Do you remember what I'm talking about? We were out at the school in the auditorium or whatever that one room is, and we had that first meeting. And I went up to you at the beginning before the meeting started. I said, hey neighbor, how's it going? You know, we're here on this. I said, do you have any water issues at your house? She said, no. We talked some, and I said, this is troubling for me. I want to see what's going on. And your words to me were, this is my last term anyway. I'm not going to be here. So now I'm wondering, no, you can shake your head. That's exactly what happened there. And I remember going, did he really just say that? I'm not sure what you meant by it, or I wasn't sure what you meant by it then. I think you were saying, I'm not really worried, I'm going to be gone soon, thinking this would never get uncovered to this point. Roll your eyes all you want. Because if you say that that didn't happen, you know, yeah, because now
You
it's
have to
going to
stay.
him.
I'm sorry to catch up, you have to stay, making personal attacks at people and trying to civil to one
Yeah,
person.
personal attacks. Yes, there's nothing. Let me tell you something. It's my
It's a personal attack on everybody in this town.
Back. Yes.
Get the meeting in order. Point of
Yes.
order, please.
Civil.
Well, that's, okay, gentlemen, that's a very simple comment, very simple.
If people can speak one at a time, I think
That
that would
helps,
help.
one at a time, we'll get through them, so please take the floor.
I have a very simple comment to make. All of you probably, as I did, learned to count as a small child. Look at these numbers. You cannot argue with the math. We are in so deep, and there is so much trouble above and beyond health concerns, taste concerns, you know, what it's doing to plumbing. Pure finances, you can count. And if you care anything about the citizens of this village, you need to be directing that fine attorney right there to get us the hell out of this mess. He works for you. If you tell him to stonewall, he'll stonewall. If you tell him to work for the citizens, he will work for the citizens. He gets paid the same either way. Start realizing that this is a financial avalanche. Your citizens are not happy. You're going to have to pay just like us. Start thinking in terms of not just damage control as in public image about the water plant, but real viable solutions to get us out of this mess. He didn't go to law school, I'm sure, and not learn anything. If you direct that gentleman, whatever it takes, get us out of this and get us back to CWLP, that's what he's bound to do. So get a clue. Borrow one if you have to. That's all I have to say.
Gentlemen?
Mr. Work.
Got one question on the what's possible. It is an election year, and we all know that. It's presidential. I don't know about Village of Chatham, and that thing's even in there. A lot of times there are non-binding referendums that are put out for a vote. What if you drew up to the Village of Chatham, anybody affected by this ridiculous watercraft, some kind of questionnaire? Do you want to stay with status quo? I don't care if you put in the numbers or not, face $55 million debt. Or do you want to go back and look into the possibility of getting into CWLP, severing the relationships, and however you want to word it, put it to the vote of the people? I bet you'd be pretty surprised.
That's a great
I don't, you know, the process,
You can put a binding, or you could, it wouldn't be a binding, it'd be an advisory referendum. That could be initiated either by the people or by.
But it's too late for the fall, isn't it, Jeff?
I can't imagine.
Well, whether it's fall or spring, we seem to take everything in baby steps.
Yeah.
And no offense to you, Jeff, but your answer to the question as far as looking into some of the violations, which we take a look at violations every day. I don't care who you're for in this election, once again, I'm bringing that up, but both sides got some major issues, and the media just wants to say, well, I didn't see that.
But, and I guess, and I don't want to speak for the village board, so anybody can jump in here and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think everybody up here hears the concerns, they hear the issues that are being raised, but at the same time, not everything can be discussed in terms of what that review process is, or what they're, what is going on. So, it's, I think, like I said, everybody up here hears the concerns, they know of the concerns, they know of the issues, and as for resolving it, it's not always in the best interest, although people might want kind of immediate responses and answers. In the big picture, it's not always in the best interest that just kind of publicly be, that all your cards be played and then all be shown out.
I appreciate your answer, and like I said, I'm not trying to offend any one of the members up here. For all, some background of legal, whether you're acting attorneys or you've been attorneys, whatever, you all know better than to just answer off the cuff. Answer off the cuff, fly off the handle, whatever. You're going to take a question, you're going to do the domino stack your head and see which one falls, and you're going to give an answer. And your answer was what I expected. You're still looking into it. It was a little bit delayed as far as getting that answer here. But that being said, if the village of Chatham, and maybe we got the impression that you folks don't think it's a serious problem because there's only 24 people in this room, given the opportunity to pack this thing with 5,000 freaking people with a lot of problems in here. So everybody's gotten quite bored at the same old, maybe. So put it out to a vote to the people. See if that non-binding question would make any difference to light a fire on your tails. Why are we going to go to $55 million in this plant and go up to $155 million before it's over?
And I don't understand your answer, I'm sorry, Jeff. It sounded like you said Thomas. Because you're saying that you can't discuss with us everything you're discussing back there. This water's affecting me, it's affecting my grandkids.
And we're paying this rent.
So we have the right to know what your guys' plans are. I'm sorry, we have the right, because we're the ones wasting our Tuesday nights because we can't trust any of you anymore. So that was a bad answer, sorry. It was a dance, and I expect that out of you. I expect that out of everybody up here. But we have the right to know the decisions you guys are making because it's affecting our families. It's affecting us. I didn't drop 26 pounds to look good at 59, honey. It was stomach problems from drinking this water. I'll go to the doctor, I'll ask him to draw something out, and find out if you'll be the person to give cover.
And eventually, I think those decisions and that discussion will take place out here, and there will be a time for that. And probably sooner rather than later.
But Jeff, it's been 4 years.
Yes, I was just gonna say that.
We got on the plan 4 years ago, and within the last 2 years, there's been massive complaints. How many more years are we gonna have to wait until a decision is made that we need to go back? And we cut our losses.
What you said about you need to pull stuff back, I understand that. You start with a little thing and it can spread it. No, that's not what we were saying. You do need to do that. I understand that from a business standpoint, from a legal standpoint, from all that. 2 years ago, you may have answered differently to this, but knowing where we are today, I have to ask, can you at least tell us, does the board or the village, or whatever you want to call this group, are we able to say that we are concerned with staying? We see that this may be an issue. Can we make that statement? Or are we still on the thing, this is our destiny and it's gonna make us great someday? Are we at the point where we can say this is a valid concern and we need to change something here.
They won't say that. No, they won't say that.
I guess I would answer this way, again, I'd encourage anybody on the board to speak up and say anything different.
We all encourage them.
You know, I think at various meetings, this board has had this discussion. And I don't think this board has taken a formal position yet on that. There have been opportunities to do that. There was an opportunity a few meetings ago where there was some discussion on, you know, after a couple of the other issues were raised specifically, and the board said, you know, we want, you know, directed me, we want you to go, you know, you've looked at these things, now, you know, go look at these things. And so I would say the answer to that is no, this board has not made any, you know, final determinations on anything yet. And if anybody wants to.
Here's what frustrates, probably causes me the biggest frustration about the whole thing. When you look at the water plan, we have, whether we like them or not, whether we agree with their measurement standards or not, we have one entity that gives the determination on is what they're producing to a standard. And whether, you know, we choose to agree with how they measure or what their standards are, that becomes, you know, project one in my mind. So when you push to get a review by the EPA and ask for a production evaluation of the plant, those things, whether we like the answer that they gave us, come back to us that says from that standard setting side, they say they're okay. So that eliminates half of the avenues that we've got to go. Now what frustrates you on that is you have your standard organization that says A, and we have customers that have a different experience. And somewhere in the middle is what you try to reconcile. And the fact that they don't give you the out, the easiest out would be they say, you know, no, we're not going to sign off on this being put out. That didn't happen. So the next routes that Jeff kind of alludes to is which legal avenues do you proceed down there? And you can't openly discuss all possible legal options out in public because you'll stop me as soon as we try.
They are meeting secondary standards, EPA secondary standards. Big difference.
They're the ones that put the stamp on that says you can send this out as a trickle.
And the EPA all over the country is in trouble.
This is what I say, this is what frustrates me. Because I can argue the measurements all day long with them until I'm blue in the face. But right now, what the state sets as the standards is this. And that becomes the parameters we have to operate.
And our state is in such a bind. Well, you know what, I feel for him, I completely 100% believe what he says, he's saying the right thing. They expect that. That doesn't make it
The
right.
thing is,
Hang on, let's rule
with
talk.
this entity that you're stating that sets the standards, they can't do anything until we exceed those standards. When we hit a maximum contaminant level, then we're already in trouble.
That's where
you
say, okay,
oh, now we're in
now
trouble.
I'm in
You
this.
can make those choices ahead of that though. We've
But we
already
don't-
seen the copper levels that are going up, we know the lead's gonna go up, we know we have a total dissolved solids problem, we know we have a phosphate problem, we know we have a manganese problem still.
So we have.
Okay,
and
those
I don't
things
wanna-
are going up.
I don't want to interrupt you.
No, that's fine, but I just wanna
But
finish.
this is where we're at, is, you know, you start to talk about what have we done, where is it going? This was the question, does it meet their standard? And so now we have yes, and now we're talking about the experience that we're having in this. So we don't have an out via the EPA. It doesn't exist
We
right
don't
now.
have to have that out, we can make our own decisions.
The next routes become, you know,
You can
what
make
legal.
decisions before it happens.
Right, but you have to
It's
do
gonna
it in a way that the laws allow you to do it.
No, you
That's-
don't, Dave.
I'm-
You can sever a
Yeah.
contract, we severed our contract with CWLP and we paid a pretty penny for it.
Correct.
$700,000.
You can sever a contract at any time.
So,
But do we not have legal basis to sever it yet?
Yes.
Or to at least start
I
the
think
ball
that's
rolling
where it's
other
gonna
than,
stop everybody from talking.
Well, I'd say the legal basis is they aren't providing us with the same standard of water that we have with city water line power. It's not at the same price, and that's what was fed to all of us. It would be the same water it would be at a cheaper rate, and that's what it was. It's not the same water, and it's definitely not a cheaper rate.
Plus the plant was not built to what they told the bond
I
holders.
don't want to belabor this point, but do we have additional comment, because we kind of beat
Jeff
this
has
horse.
comment,
and then I do.
One little comment, Terry Burke, Ruth, and now Lee. That is supposed to be your
Every 6
communication with
months.
that water department, and you guys haven't gotten it. Or if you have, it's been a one-on-one with the person that's putting them in there. And you all are voting for that, rather than listening to the citizens. The mayor makes the decision. Everybody know that. Mayor makes the decision.
And
It's
he
been
wasn't,
Terry,
wasn't even
Ruth,
introduced.
and now Lee. How much communication think we can get?
No way.
Jeff?
I had a comment, I just read the South Salmon response to the Illinois EPA Curry report just a few minutes ago, and I want to comment on a few things related to documentation we've obtained from South Salmon from 2012 to 2013 before I comment on the response here. January 3rd, 2013, their permit for WSU 110 phosphate on page 5859 contains an email from Nick Stanley at Water Solutions Unlimited regarding erosion control and a coupon rack for better tracking corrosivity. On March 3rd, 2013, the Reservoir Stability Index calculator showed readings of 9.4, which indicated the water was at a level of corrosion intolerable. It was off the charts. Those charts stop at 9. It was 9.4. It was very aggressive water. Quality lab results from Prairie Analytical on pages 64 through 68 from December 2012 show water also is very corrosive. Now their response today, one of the things they talk about is their corrosion. And they said that they're going to leave it up to the village of Chatham to investigate the causes of corrosion, which I think is BS because their own documentation says their water is corrosive. Their tests show the water is corrosive. Now they're trying to pass that to the village of Chatham, saying we need to investigate on our own while people's plumbing are being investigated, provided it's being damaged. We know why. They know why. This is why. You guys can't sit there and tell us that we should be using this water and hey, you guys need to look at your plumbing, talk to your plumber because it's BS right here. Their documentation says they know and have known since 2012 when they went live, their water is highly corrosive off the charts. So our pipes are being destroyed, our plumbing is being destroyed. Their documentation says it. Their testing says it. So you're still using this water, feeding this to our kids in our schools, in our businesses, everything else. This water from 2012, their own tests. Even in the Curry report 2016, it still shows corrosive. 4 years later, they have not fixed it. How many different places, consultants have we had out of that plant, and they can't fix the water? Why? Because it was not designed correctly. It can't. Everybody's been out there, has been trying to dump more chemicals in there. It's getting in our bodies, making people sick. If they keep trying to polish that turd. That turd is not getting shinier, okay? People are getting sicker. It's time to stop, okay? This stuff says it is corrosive. I don't care what Illinois EPA says. I don't care what other stuff you guys feed us, okay? Their documentation, I have a 105-page summary of all the crap and all the documentation out there from all the different sources. We can prove that this water is damaging to us and our infrastructure and every piece of thing here in this town. And it's time to stop blowing it off and blowing us off, okay? This is not tolerable. This water, corrosion, intolerable, off the charts corrosive. Been feeding it to my kids. That makes me mad, okay? I bought a whole house filter. I come back from vacation last week, green water in my toilet and tank, yellow water downstairs. It's just, it shouldn't be this way. I shouldn't have green water when I come back from vacation, okay? This stuff is not left over from CWLP. It's not cleaning out stuff. It's not because they haven't flushed or anything else. It's because the crap that's coming out there is crap, pure crap. It's never going to get fixed. We need to close it down. If it's a break even, then finances, let's just make the cut. We don't have to spend our Tuesday nights here. You don't have to listen to us anymore. I don't care whose pipe dream this was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, okay? It's not. We already know this passed in 2006 and 2007. It wasn't in 2009 and 2010. We have the documentation, ordinances, and resolutions that show in 2006 this was passed. They started passing bonds and ordinances for that at that time. This was not in 2009. They were not negotiating in good faith with the CWLP in 2009 and 10. They had already signed this documentation in 2006 and 2007. It's all in the ordinances. It's all online. Okay? This is not anything that we should be dealing with at this time. We should be switching off. If it's pennies difference Switch it. Let's not deal with our health. Let's start cleaning up our infrastructure, cleaning up our schools. Let's start getting good water flowing in here. We should not be using this stuff any longer. Period. And I want anyone to tell me any differently, just based on this one thing. Corrosion intolerable. Tell me I should be paying for plumbing fixtures, replacement, any of that kind of stuff in my house. Tell me I'm not going to start charging you guys for it because you guys are still giving us this water 4 years later that's corrosive. Their documentation still says it. Why you guys are still making the decision to keep this water, there should be so much evidence to get us out of there. Even if we have to break bonds, break even, 50-50, whatever. Just do it. Get us out now.
Amy, you got something going on?
Me?
Yes.
Thank you, John. I had to take off work early to get here today. I've had to take a second job because my utilities are over $600 all summer. And I'm ask my husband, I'm very emotional all the time anyway. And I keep asking, what am I doing here? Like, why do I come to these? Because it just breaks my heart every time to hear us versus you. It's always like this. Or it's like this on Facebook. It's this group versus this group. This is a community, and you are our leaders. I don't understand why we're not working together. Joe, the very first meeting I ever came to, we had a complaint. I don't know if you remember, it was the first time I met you. And my husband and I left pretty upset for the way we were treated. And you followed us outside and talked to us and were kind to us and gave us ideas about things. And I have kept thinking at some time you're going to say something and you're going to be that trustee that I met that day. That leadership's going to kick in again because you have to understand. And I think I see it sometimes in your face that there is some compassion there. And I know, I have so much faith in you, Mr. Griggis, to fix this. I do. I've told you that so many times. I know, I'm shaking. I know you cannot tell us everything. We understand that. But all day, every day, when I sign on to my Facebook, I have between 10 to 50 messages from people about their water, new people all the time. And I can't tell them. I want to say, let's go to our trustees and tell them about it. Let's talk about it. They'll care. But it doesn't seem like you do. I send emails all the time. I only hear from Trustee Clayton and Trustee Linders. I don't hear from any of you guys. I don't hear back ever. I don't, you know what people want? They know you can't fix the water overnight. You know what they want? They want you to validate that it is a problem. They want you to say, I care if your hair is falling out, if your stomach hurts, if you're having health issues. I care about you guys. I can't say it's the water. I can't say that legally. I know you guys can't. That's fine. Say, I care. I care about what you're going through because you're a part of my community and I'm in a leadership position. Especially you, Mayor, right? You can't even make eye contact with us. It's painful to be in a community that is divided in so many different ways. It's silly. We have all these leadership organizations in town. We have the JCs, right? Trustee Kinsey, do you see my hand? It breaks my heart. It's hard for me. It's hard for me. It carries over into my marriage. It carries over into my children because it's a burden we carry. Do you know how much time Jules spends out of her personal life doing things like this? Or how Jeff writes 105-page summaries? Or what about this documentation Jill brought you today? She's doing the work for you guys. You guys don't even say thank you. Just, can you do something, anything that just says, I care about it. Just answer my email saying, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that person A is going through this. Please tell them we care about their situation and we're looking into it. Just don't dismiss everybody so completely all the time. You're going to do irreparable damage eventually with all the divisions. That's what's going to happen. Is that what you want for your community? Or do you want us all to be on the same page and work together to fix this? Because it shouldn't be us versus you and me versus somebody else. My kids shouldn't get stopped at school, you know, oh, your mom's the person causing trouble about the water. That's silly. This is silly. This isn't getting us anywhere. How many Tuesday nights do you guys want to sit here and listen to the same stuff over and over and over? What can we do then? Just tell me, what can we do so we can all just work on this problem together, maybe meet somewhere in the middle. Don't ignore us, and then we won't have to feel like we have to work so hard to get you to notice us, or hear us, or validate us.
I personally don't feel at any point I've said that I ignored you or dismissed
You haven't answered any of my emails. You haven't answered Jules either. Well, that's ignoring us. I mean,
that
You have answered.
this letter from you yesterday, which I didn't respond to.
you did respond? When? When? Did you respond to Jules?
I missed what you're looking at. When I saw, I have seen.
I didn't know we were talking about this.
Financial
Kirby?
statements. However, that being said.
I just want
I
to
don't
heal the
think
divisions,
anybody-
trustee Kinsey. How can we heal the divisions?
I don't think anybody dismisses the experience that you're having. And nobody wants anybody to be unsatisfied with the water. The difficulties we have is how do we get from what we have to what we all accept as this is what we want. That's a difficult process.
Even if what you have and what we have and what I want and she wants and he wants are all different, I don't care right now. But if you keep, if it's us versus you, nothing's going to change.
We're not talking about dismissing, we're talking about acknowledging.
Yeah, yeah. Even if you just say, I'm sorry you're having that problem. You're not admitting to anything. You're just being a compassionate human being, that's all.
Multiple times that, I empathize with you because I know how much time you're spending on this. We've talked about how much time I spend on it as well.
That's your job, though, it's not hers or mine.
Neither one of us want to be spending this much time, but it's what we've chosen to do. So that's where we are now. To get through it is difficult, yes. Nobody dismisses it. Nobody is happy.
You're
to
telling
sit
me
up
that the mayor doesn't dismiss us?
and I don't.
Don't say nobody then.
I don't even believe that he is happy that you have the experience that you have.
Well, he can speak for himself.
I would share that, I would
Thank you.
agree.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very further public comment. Marty?
Oh, just real quick, I just thought it was very dismissive how Matt did not look at Amy one time while she was speaking and continued to write something and rip paper. That seems pretty dismissive to me.
Because he adds another
No.
Yeah, point of the case. Write your notes, Matt.
Unfortunately, mine's all negative also. I wish I could just come one time and be happy and say that something was accomplished. But the last meeting, I specifically asked the question about Comcast, Joe, Mr. Mayor,
What?
Comcast, and why no other cable company has come in. And it is on the agenda to talk about the Comcast contract.
I think we said, I believe we said, it is completely open for anyone. to come
And
in.
so in
And
the
so-
contract that you're going to be talking about tonight, it says terms of franchise sale and exclusive franchise agreement between parties. What does exclusive mean to you?
Jeff, would you explain how
Yeah, I think-
cable TV operates?
And I haven't reviewed the specific agreement yet, they're just gonna be talking about it for the future, but with a franchise agreement, essentially, anybody that wants to come in is gonna be able to do it, and the way the law is set up is, once you have one franchise agreement out there, another company can come in and get at least those same benefits, same contractual requirements. So I don't think at the end of the day, I'm not sure what it's now, but it would not be,
I'm just reading what's online.
Darlene, I think there's an easier answer. The section she read, it's in the term, but it says, from and after the effective date of this franchise agreement, the parties acknowledge that this franchise agreement is intended to be the sole and exclusive franchise agreement between the parties.
Yeah.
Meaning to the effect, this document is the agreement between.
But if other
not
companies,
excluding
yeah,
parties.
if other companies want to come in, the way the law works, they can, and then they're gonna be able to get the same terms and conditions that are in the Comcast agreement.
Yeah, we cannot charge Comcast, let's say for easements, let's say $5 per square foot, and AT&T comes in and we say, okay, we're gonna charge you $10.
They're gonna
Can't
get
be
the
done.
$5.
I think
Okay,
it's
but
the use of the word.
Do you have a franchise agreement with them and you get paid franchise fees?
Yes,
The Village
ma'am.
of Chatham?
Yes, ma'am. $8.25
5%.
is the charge that Comcast charges the customer's franchise fee. That's what I pay every month as a franchise fee. But the Village of Chatham gets a 5% profit. Is that correct?
You collect
Incorrect?
5% of.
You collect 5%?
It's for the use of the right of ways, for the use of the poles that they have their wires on, for the underground easements they have throughout the village where the wires run.
And do you regulate what Comcast charges any of us?
No.
In other words, they can charge us $100 and the village has no say whatsoever
That's all the free
on.
market. Yeah, correct.
Probably.
Hopefully, it should be smarter than the board and know that if our cousin, that if our place is charging us $100, we'd have enough sense to move away.
Move on.
We wouldn't
But,
say,
I just have a hard time understanding also why we would sign a 10-year contract that way.
Most franchise agreements are actually very long in term. Some are
Yeah, we know.
50, but it depends. I think tonight they're gonna kind of start the conversation on that, and start to explore what they want to do with the franchises. But, certainly.
Is there additional public comment or which I move right into the conversation?
I have one thing,
Well,
but I'm gonna leave.
I get it, but go ahead.
Just where we left off, and you said, you're talking about the EPA, and that basically, that's where it was. I understand exactly where you're coming from there, that, well, this is what the EPA says, and but let's look at this from a standpoint that as a business, if you hired a roofer, and Better Business Bureau, listen, they're great, and they've been recommended by friends, and you know what I mean, you're going into this knowing that this is a good company to work with, and they get there and they start doing shoddy work. Are you gonna say, but they met the Better Business Bureau standards, they said that they're a good, reliable company?
The difficulty, I think, and the difference there in your analogy is, in our case, that is the standard set by law, they set it.
And if that was it, if they're only meeting those standards, that's okay, so then Better Business Bureau comes back and says, well, our standards are that they have to have less than whatever percent of negative complaints, and they have to have been
Correct.
licensed, and they have to have been.
That's not a legal entity setting standards for business.
Right, but
It's
I'm
a
saying,
referral.
you're going by this isn't the only thing that matters. What I'm saying is, just like in that case, the Better Business Bureau, while you might think that that's something great to go by, that wouldn't be the only thing that mattered. If your house was getting affected by it, if you were having problems, you would then go, you know what, maybe I need to look at something different. You're
Which
not
is
just
where-
gonna fall back to the
Which
Better
is what I
Business.
said, that's where we're at. We had one,
But we've
we
been
had
at
a
that for so long. That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't let them
And I
keep working on your house.
I understand your frustration.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
We should.
We just have to go further. And on that, I'm gonna let you guys polish the turd off.
Can I just say one thing that is happening here tonight, that outside, that I want to bring up? Ms. Churchill over here was outside talking about, the costs of the bags that we pay for in our leaf
The
paper.
$2.
And the $2 that comes out every night. And Mr. Shad was out there too.
No, he was in here.
He was in here? He said, well, it was in here, and he said, well, it's only $2. He said, I bet you could find $2.
I told him it was hard with utilities because for some reason my electric goes 68, 57, 42, 61, 40. And that's before the heat wave.
So,
And pretty much came to, if I check my priorities, I could find the $2. When I told him, it's awful hard on disability.
that's not
I didn't appreciate
kosher.
it.
I'm telling you right now to say something like that to somebody.
I have my
That's
priorities, and let me tell you what, you go try to survive on $700 a month? and tell me $2 is easy to find to check my priorities.
And I don't think any of us would,
That was hard.
Speak for what Mr. Shad said.
Well, I'm apprising you of the situation that was said in this building tonight. And that is unconscionable, unacceptable.
One other thing I had to say was that I FOIA'd South Sangamon for their free water taps and free water that they issued to customers when the water plant was first begun, which they have some. And they also said that the village of Chatham has. So Mr. Kimsey, Mr. Fontaine, Mr. Mao, Mr. Shadowman, I would like for you to come back next meeting and tell us that Chatham doesn't have any people getting free water.
Came from South Sangamon.
That actually, I can bring you the copy of the email that I received stating that the agreement.
Would you like to see that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you share that with me?
Well, I don't have it with me tonight.
We all, I think, like copies in that email.
Okay. Any further questions?
I do know that I have a lady friend who lives right down the road and she moved on. She gets 30,000 gallons a month for $36. She lives on a farm.
Make sure your connection was.
30,000 gallons a month at $36.
Is she in village limits?
She lives right down the road from South Sangamon County Water.
Oh, okay.
Well, there are people.
So she's not in the village.
No, but she's right down, but that's a lot of water for $36 a month. I didn't use that much and my water bill was, I think, $140.
Thank you. Yes.
I have a question for Mr. McCarthy. Do you remember back in May, excuse me, we were talking about the sidewalks and things, and you were talking to the developer, and you called and let me know you spoke to him, and within about a week or two, they'd be out there doing it? There ain't crap. Do you have the name of the developer? Because I'll call him.
It's Greg Scrow.
Really?
And he's getting ready to do the subdivision right behind my house.
Yeah. But he
So
told me
he's
that
still
he was gonna have,
developing.
he said he was gonna have a crew come out there and put that
That was
sidewalk.
May. He hasn't done squat,
I'll give him a call
except
tomorrow.
let the grass grow.
Okay, so we had, we started the discussion. Okay, so-
Well, I had one more thing.
One more time.
We have someone that trims all the trees from the electrical lines and all of that, correct? We pay a company, I don't know the name of it,
National Tree Security.
Are they not responsible? Does the village ever go and do that, or is that totally their deal?
We contracted out.
It's all, so the lady who had thought that the village came and trimmed her trees and left all the limbs and everything in her backyard, that was done by them?
No, if they trim trees, they're supposed to pick all the branches up and remove them from the side.
Well, we need to tell her to call you then,
We'll just
because
have them
she
call her.
understood that, that that's what would happen too, that they had all the branches, that they should at least have taken them to the front.
They should have. They should have taken them away.
Well, that's
They
what,
left them in
I
the
mean, it
backyard.
states in the warrants that they haul, trim and haul away.
But they told her it wasn't their job.
Right.
Not their responsibility.
So we need someone to find out the true total story.
So you can call into the office or call and ask for me.
Okay. I think that's all right.
We have one more?
Nope, not one more now.
Last chance. One more?
No, go.
Franchise agreement. Jeff, you guys are set to review this.
Yes, and I got a sick family member, so I'm gonna have to go, but if there is something more on the franchise agreement.
And all I did was put out there what Comcast sent us. We haven't looked at it yet, but we knew it was gonna be a little while before we voted on it, so you guys could look at it, the attorneys can look at it, the public can look at it. So that's what it's out there for.
Jeff, one quick question. I have looked at the federal regs as far as cable act or the state regs. knowing that they're starting to become a fine line between internet, cable, is that all, no, is internet covered under the cable or?
I'm not, I just worked with a franchise agreement for purely internet before, and I'm not sure, I'd have to go back and look and see if it's gonna be something separate from the cable. But yeah, a lot of what communities are seeing now are companies coming in that are specifically internet, but that also will it's merging between the internet and the TV.
Yeah, basically. There's slowly going to be a line that's going to get blurry, where all of a sudden people just do the internet and do nothing but Netflix.
And I think as part of this discussion, it sounds like there's perhaps a desire that you want to, maybe encourage more in the community. So that might be a discussion we can try and have too, to see if there's anything that might be done for that. But at the end of the day, this is really a market-driven process. If the company wants to, be in the village and invest in the village, then they're gonna come and do that.
Yeah, I don't think AT&T is even down in this area at this time. I mean,
Yes, they are, they're in Springfield. Yeah, I mean, they're as close as they can get.
Telephone wires. They transmit on telephone wires.
And we have run this year on telephone wires.
As best as I understand.
Is it true that the telephone lines and AT&T, when they sold and all of that, the Frontier, they divided up different areas, and Frontier is this area, AT&T can't come in because Frontier is here? Where am I at?
Somebody always owns the line.
This area used to be GTE, and then Verizon bought them out, and then they sold out to Frontier.
Mitel was around some.
Not in Chatham.
And there's other companies, I wouldn't call them fly by night, but there's new companies that, seem to be coming up and seem to be developing. So whether or not, something that we can.
Taylorville, a startup company came into Taylorville and run high-speed fiber to homes. I'd love to have that here.
I can tell you about Taylorville, the one that came in and ran all that. My mother and my family lived down there. They said it's wonderful, and guess what? They don't sell you a package for $129 and bill you $210.
Yeah, it's gonna take a company that wants to come in and actually
Do you invite the companies to come in? Is that how it works?
No, usually they
Because I'll call somebody.
I suppose you could do it which way, but usually it's part of their business model. They're identifying areas that they want to expand in.
Okay.
Where they think they
do their own market research for their.
Come in and get a market share.
Okay.
To see if it's profitable for them.
But even if you sign this franchise agreement and all that, another company can come in
That's
and do that.
right. This is not the same, the citizens here can only have Comcast.
Well, Comcast kind of leads you to think that when you talk to them, by the way.
Well,
They push and push.
Yeah. Right now, they probably do that because there is no other
Oh, yeah.
alternative.
They're real happy to do it.
But
Jeff, we understand.
Now, I've seen the
Thank you.
commercials, they're all about customer service now, so
Yeah.
that should be better.
I won't even go there.
Well, the people that come out, they're really.
I have a family member.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry I have to leave early if you call me on my cell. Right.
Second item then was the Highlands subdivision.
What about approval of minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the minutes, okay?
I'll make a motion.
I thought that was.
We knocked everybody off their feet, didn't we?
I have a motion to approve the minutes. I'll second. Second by Terry, you take the vote, please.
Dave Kimsey,
Yes.
Terry Fountain,
Yes.
Dave, Matt Mal.
Yeah.
And Joe Shaw.
yes,
Now, Highlands subdivision, location map and sketch map.
The planning commission met last week and reviewed the preliminary plan location sketch, and they approved it along with the engineer's notes, which is line.
So what was the bill package, 611?
I don't know. I don't know that.
Oh, yeah. They didn't take a vote. They didn't take a vote on this.
They had to have.
I was at the meeting, and all they did was review it.
I understood that they approved
We'll double check.
the location sketch and preliminary plan.
No, I don't think so.
Double check with Rob.
Alright,
Private discussion, so.
Yeah.
CMT is reviewed.
CMT has reviewed this. One of the things that the developer had asked was to change the name of the main street. It's Plover in Quill Meadows, and he wanted to change it to Highlands Drive, and they would not allow him to do that. They said that should be Plover all the way through.
Right.
And all Jim's comments have been forwarded to.
Yes, they've been there, and on the, if you clicked on the attached documents,
Is this, can someone explain this line right here? Is this the 100-year floodplain line?
it is.
Okay, so it's going through 1, 2, 3 different plots. Is that, can we do that? Can we not do that?
You can, as long as you don't build the structure in under your floodplain, permanent structure.
Okay.
And I also told them too that one of the things that they need to do is all of these lots along here,
Yeah.
they need to survey them and make sure they know exactly where the 100-year flood is, so that these people will not get charged for flood insurance.
But that's
Right? Correct, because they're purchasing a lot.
And is there going to be something put in the covenants then stating when these lots are sold, it must be disclosed that they are buying land that's going to have, that's contains the 100-year floodplain? Because we get this all the time where people don't know that they bought a piece of land and it floods, they come to us, say, can you do something about it? And we say, no, that's part of the detention area.
See, we wanted the paperwork with FEMA put with each of those lots back there, so that whenever that title changed, all that paperwork that FEMA has looked at that, and there's the 100-year flood line. We asked them to do that ahead of time instead of turning around and selling the lots, and then the people that are buying the lots are like, on the day they're closing, all of a sudden they're telling them.
Now
Yeah,
we know, we
yeah.
didn't know that before.
So,
Doesn't that run with the title?
it should.
Where'd our attorney go?
Yeah, that's the plan, is that it'll be run with the title. So I told them that we would like for them to do that ahead of time, instead of waiting till they're ready to close on a lot, and then all of a sudden, oh, well, you're gonna need flood insurance for that, and the people don't know it. So it's been addressed with the developer.
So you'll find out for sure on the vote, and if applicable, this will be on the agenda in 2 weeks.
Well, I want to make sure that that's the way it's going to be, because I don't want to be, I don't want it to be where these lots are sold and then all of a sudden now we have people coming in here complaining, rightly so, that my yard is flooded and I didn't even know about it. I mean, if they've been told, I'm okay with that.
They've been told. The thing is it won't show up on the preliminary plan and location sketch. That'll be information that's on the final plat. So before they can sell a lot, you will know that that's on there. It'll be in the notes.
So, okay.
But it won't necessarily be on the location sketch and the preliminary plan. That's mostly just to give you a rough idea of what, because even the configuration could change a little bit.
Yeah,
The lots,
yeah. Yeah, I understand, but I just want to make sure it's going to be on the notes and it's going to be disclosed at the time of sale.
They were told that the very first time they came in, they were told it all the way, every time we meet with them, we remind them that they have to have every one of those lots, a special survey done and signed off from FEMA that that lot is either in or out of the 100-year floodplain.
This was the motion that was made at the planning commission. It says approve the location map and the sketch map for Highland subdivisions, subject to compliance with the engineer's comments.
That's what I said.
That's the motion, yeah.
Is that the motion you're talking about?
That is correct.
Okay.
Was it 6-0?
So, I don't know, are you saying it's, you know, it's,
Well, what was the vote? You said the motion was that. What was the vote?
Well, they had a first and they had a second. And, then all the others agreed.
So that,
So it's not been approved yet.
The planning commission passes it subject to these.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking at.
That's right.
They're good.
Pat, 2 questions. Should I assume this has gone to the fire department and everyone else that's on our list?
I've asked the engineers to start handing that stuff out, so it's gone to the county, fire department, school district, everybody that's on our list.
Okay. Second question, and I drove by both of them before coming here, the small section of Clover and whatever the other street is.
Mallard.
Mallard.
Mallard?
There's 2 driveways on those. They're 100, maybe 150 feet long. Typically pavement that has sat without any traffic on it will start falling apart. Can we get the developer hopefully to take care of both of those small sections when they do the rest of their roads?
I told the developer that Mallard would definitely have to be redone because the drainage isn't proper there.
Okay.
When the water comes around, you notice they've cut a valley gutter across that asphalt. Looks like they used a partial concrete pipe there. Yeah. So that needs to be gone so that it's a smooth entrance in there, and then the water needs to come around and go into one of their grates. So that whole area needs to be done. We haven't looked at Plover too much yet to see up there what needs to be done to it.
I just know,
Yeah.
based on my experience, that pavement sits there without really any use. Once you start actually putting traffic on it where it has sat for a while, it will start falling apart. So it'd be nice to get the developer to maybe go ahead and take it up to T.
Yeah.
So, the way I look at this map is, I'm gonna use Darlene's house is facing, what's the street?
Faces west.
It faces west. The house then behind it will face north, is that correct?
That's the only face east.
It's the only way it can be.
Yes, the only face.
Be facing Mallard.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
And then that house would face either
That-
Urban Terrace or South
Okay,
Mallard.
okay, so that could go either way.
Correct.
Okay, so that's 2 houses. Houses would possibly be like this.
Oh, so, all right, so what is there a motion?
Do we have any further questions for?
No, tonight is just discussion.
Just reviewing, okay.
You know, it'll be on the
Needs to be placed on the
agenda next, at the next board meeting for passage.
Okay. So, what, is it supposed to be put on as an ordinance or a resolution or what?
An ordinance. I've got a list of things here from Vernon. He couldn't make it tonight. With the decriminalization of cannabis, we're looking at an ordinance to be created for a civil fine, and the attorneys are currently looking into creating an ordinance for this.
Civil fine on top of what the state already does as far as their civil action, as far as the penalty. Are you aware of what they've done?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm just going along off of his notes here, and this is just for discussion.
Yeah, there's an either or out there.
Okay.
It says that you just write a citation that they get convicted of. It's civil more than it is.
Whenever we do an ordinance, all that money comes back to the village, whereas if we do the state side, then we get our usual like these citations, speeding things, right, like that, we get a small portion. Whereas if we deal with it administratively, locally here, we get the full amount of funds back.
Okay.
Which if you guys look into that, the ordinance for the village is a lot better to do with the state.
Springfield's already done that, and a lot of other towns have done that as well.
And
that's what we're working on.
That along with Angela to put something together. Okay. Then He had in his budget this year for two new squad cars. Morrow Brothers out of Greenfield has the state bid. One of the cars is going to be a Ford SUV 2017, $36,000, license fees not included. It comes outfitted with all the lights, the sirens, and the prisoner transport shield. And then the other car is a 2016 Ford sedan, and it's approximately $32,000. It also has the lights, siren, and prisoner transport.
Yeah, it's in those vehicles, that would suit the engines and everything else that normally goes with the police.
I would assume so.
And this is
How many
replacing.
cars do we have now?
We currently have 18 squad cars in our fleet. We're going to retire a GMC Envoy, and we're going to give that to the electric department to use. It's already got 129,500 miles on it. And then the car that we're going to trade in is a 2004 Chevy, and it has 100,000 miles on it.
So that leaves us, what, like 17 cars?
That would leave us with still 18 cars.
And
Because
how
we're,
many officers do you have?
I think it's 18.
Right now, as far as officers on, we have 16. We have no one in captain right now.
We have 16 officers and
You're gonna
18
get
cars.
We will have 17 officers and 18 cars. We have one car that we use as a pool car in case somebody's car breaks, they take that car.
Okay, but I'm confused, please bear with me.
The Municipal League Conference is coming up September the 22nd, 23rd, 24th. The conference costs $310. The hotel rate is $247 plus taxes and fees. So if anybody wants to go to that, let me know.
And
Where's it at?
It's in Chicago, Chicago Hilton Towers.
There's only one place that I would like to be away from this conference.
Yeah, I can imagine the taxes on that in Chicago.
I think there's 18%.
It's almost.
That's it.
Anything additional? Motion adjourned.
And want to adjourn?
I'll second.
Favor? Aye. Motion, meeting stands.
See, he's not required to do that. So you're gonna do it. Well, I think they want. He said, "We will do it." Well, he was gonna do it.
On this review cable television franchise, nothing was motioned on that, right? What? Oh, nothing, there was no motion on that, right? It was just talking about.
Correct, that was information.
Okay. I'm not gonna go into any